Hi guys, welcome back to Hairdryer Treatment. It's me, Soph. A nice little chat on a Saturday morning. Obviously there's a lot of Bruno talk going on at the minute on Twitter, Sky Sports, everywhere at the minute. It's talking about Bruno Fernandes to Manchester United. Everyone's forgetting that we've actually got a game today, which I think is quite funny. But yeah, I think Bruno Fernandes to United, it's looking more and more likely that it's going to happen. But as always, until I see him holding up that shirt, I'm not believing anything. But I can't lie, it's getting me a bit excited because Bruno Fernandes is someone obviously that we were linked with in the summer. A lot of United fans wanted him. They were saying that he's the answer to that creative midfielder. And it looks more and more likely that we're going to get him. And I wasn't expecting it, I'll be totally honest. I was very much doubting the board. I was doubting that we were going to get anyone in this transfer window. And to see the fact that it's looking more and more likely that it could be Bruno is on his way to United, I've got to say it's exciting times because I did not see it happening. However, until it is confirmed, like I've already said, I'm not going to get too blown away by it. We've got Norwich today. We need to be focusing on that. It's a big, big game. The kind of game that we all know that we're struggling. Our performance in the first half against City in the week was absolutely abysmal. I'm hoping we see an improvement from that, definitely. And good morning to all you guys tuning in. I hope you're having a good Saturday so far. In terms of Bruno, I can't see it being confirmed anyway until Monday at least. Obviously, because we're playing today, it's not going to be announced today. Not when we got a game, but yeah, I think exciting times for us fans at the minute because we haven't had a lot to look forward to. So Bruno coming in is something definite to excite us, or is it all just a tactic to try and blow away the poor performances that we've been seeing? It's an interesting one. Mark says, hello, Soph. I don't think we will sign him. I don't trust us on transfers. That's my gut instinct. I don't fully trust us yet. However, you've got to say there's some reliable sources out there who are saying it's happening, and it's looking more and more likely. I'm starting to get sucked in now to this transfer talk. I don't believe anything until I see officially. Evening from Oz. So thank you for that, Mark. Yeah, I agree. Until he's holding that shirt up, I will not fully believe it. But he's a good player. He's a good player. LFC Shanks there is saying he's not that good. He's slow on the ball. He's no pace. Good passer though. I guarantee if he went to Liverpool, you wouldn't be saying that though. He is a talented player. He's the kind of player that we were lacking in the middle, which is why we were so excited to get him. I always said Maddison was my first choice, and I stick to that. I do really rate Maddison. Grealish obviously was the other one, but I already said this. I cannot see Grealish leaving his boyhood club in January when obviously he loves Villa at heart, and there's still a possibility they could stay up. It's unlikely, but they could still stay up. Imagine if he leaves them in January and leaves them in the shit ultimately because they're going to get relegated without him. I can never see that happening. So if Grealish leaves, it'll be in the summer, and obviously we need to see where we're at as a club then, because I'm sure there'll be a few clubs looking at Grealish. So Maddison was the one that I always said was my favourite. Bruno Fernandes, I've only seen bits of, I'm going to be totally honest, but what I have seen of him, he does look a very talented player. And I'm trusting the fan base where there's a lot of United fans who wanted him at our club. Dwight says, Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you, Dwight, as well. Hope you're good. Ray says, when is it on the Man United website? Then I am excited. Yeah, I agree. When it is announced by the club, then we can all start to get excited. Don't get too sucked in right now. Of course, we're all eagerly awaiting the announcements. It's not going to happen for me until Monday at least. We've got a big game today, and that's what we need to be focusing on. But I will be absolutely buzzing if it is announced. Sarim says, hi Sophie, please post more videos. I'm trying to do it more contextual. So, for example, Bruno's last night, breaking news. I thought I'd have a chat about it today. I'll still do the Sofa Meg show, but I am trying to do a lot of short, snappy videos like this to discuss some of the topics that have been coming out. And during the transfer window, obviously, there's a lot of them when it comes to Manchester United because we're linked with every man and his dog. So I am trying to give you more content, and I appreciate your support as always. Luke says, did you see how excited Mark was on the United stand last night when he heard we were closing on signing Fernandes? I didn't see it, no, but I know Mark has been pushing for this signing for a long time, so he's not the only one, I think. In terms of United, there's a lot of fans who are buzzing about this announcement and want it to happen sooner rather than later. But like I say, I think it'll be Monday when it does happen. If it does happen, I'm not saying when because I'm not getting too sucked in just yet, but it is looking more and more likely. I just don't you think that it will be a great move by Ed just to shut the fans with this Bruno signing? Yeah, I think it is a big statement, but I still stick to it that I don't rate Ed Woodward. I think he's a businessman, he's not a football man. I think, yes, it's a good signing, but he's papering over the cracks. There's still issues at the club, definitely. He's not the answer to all our problems, but it is a positive sign in the way that Ole wants to make the transfers in the direction that he wants to go in as a club. Ole wanted him in the summer, obviously. We wouldn't fork out the money for him, and now we're forking out the money for him. That for me is poor business by Ed Woodward. He should have just got it done in the summer, but sooner is better. Like, obviously, I don't want us to dilly-dally over this and just to fizzle out like he did in the summer. I want us to get this out over the line. I want him to be in the starting lineup sooner rather than later because we are so short, especially in the middle. We need him there, definitely. Craig says, "Hi Soph, are you playing FIFA again?" Hi Craig. Over Christmas I bought an Xbox One to do my FIFA streams on. I am going to get back up and running with that. To be honest, I've been doing some renovation on my YouTube room where I normally do my streams, which is why I haven't started it just yet, but it is in the pipeline to start sooner rather than later. And I am going to be playing against some of my subscribers as well. So I did do a tweet not long ago. I'm going to ask for what people's Xbox names are. If you want Xbox, I will give you a game and we'll stream it live on my channel. I must admit, I'm pretty poor on FIFA 20, so I don't think I'm going to win too many games. But we'll have a go. We'll have a go. Hi, Soph. Who would you love to see at United as a CDM between Ndidi and Neves? If I'm honest, I would love to see Neves in a United shirt. Obviously, I see a lot of Neves. My dad doesn't shut up about Ruben Neves. He's always chanted his name. But I think he would suit the Manchester United style of play perfectly. Imagining Neves' vision and his ability to play the ball over the top for Rashford, I think he's the kind of guy that I would love to see in a United shirt. So if I'm choosing between the two, it would be Ruben Neves. I also think he's got that leadership capability about him, which is something we don't have a lot of at United at the minute. So definitely, I would love to see Neves at United if I'm choosing between the two. So unknown player was in United training ground yesterday, hidden from the camera. Maybe it was Nicholas Gaitan, who knows? I'm not getting too sucked into any of these rumours going about. That picture yesterday, obviously, people were screwing over it, they were losing their heads. That could literally be, I don't know, a new kit man, it could be anyone. But the fact he was covering his face obviously makes you wonder why he's covering his face. But I'm not getting too sucked in. There's reliable sources saying that Bruno is on his way to United. The deal is currently being discussed in London. And I'm just praying that it is the truth. I'm praying it's the truth. I think that he'll be a good signing for us. I think he's someone that we definitely need at our club. But I was just not getting too carried away right now. And I advise you guys not to get too carried away as well. Because before I've done it, I've got sucked in. I believed DiMarzio when he's announced things and then it hasn't gone through. And I just feel absolutely gutted and depressed afterwards. And I think we've had too much depression as United fans this season so far. Don't let this transfer rumour talk get you depressed even more. Because we get linked with everyone. Do you see Bruno as an 8 or a pure 10? I see him more as an 8, to be honest with you. I think he's got the creative flair, but he's not afraid to put his foot in. I think he obviously works for the team. He's not a box-to-box midfielder, but I think he's quite tenacious in there. If you look at the way Fred, that he's quite nippy in the middle. I think Bruno is a lot like that. However, he has got that creative element going forward, and he does score goals as well. So I think that he is the kind of player that we're missing. And obviously when Pogba comes back as well, people are saying now that Bruno coming in means that Pogba will be on his way out in the summer. If I'm honest, I already imagine Pogba will be going out in the summer anyway. I can't see Pogba staying for much longer. There's always some kind of debate and discussion about his future, and I can see him going. To be honest with you, he's had a lot of crap from fans as well and from the press and the media. You have to say Pogba leaving may be the best thing for him. Of course, I've always said I would love Pogba to stay at the club and show his worth and show us that he can. He has got that world-class potential, we just haven't seen it enough at United, and there's been issues with his attitude and issues with his social media and everything, all this. The media do get on his back. He does get slated. If you listen to what's been said about Ashley Young recently, apparently he said he doesn't want to play for the club again. He doesn't even want to be named in the squad, and he's obviously on his way to Inter at the end of the season. If that was Pogba, just imagine the backlash that would have happened if Pogba said those quotes. And of course, it is all rumours. I'm not saying that Ashley Young has definitely said that. We don't know really how true that is. But if he has, I've got to say I'm really disappointed because he was club captain. He's had a really good United career. He's been in for a long time now and the club have been very good to him. So I think that if he has said that, I'll be really disappointed. But just imagine if Paul Pogba said that, the backlash would have been completely different. And that's why I think Paul Pogba will be looking to go out to the club. Obviously, the fact that we're poor and we're not looking like we're going to get trophies anytime soon, but also for the treatment that he's had, I can see him leaving in the summer. Luke McDermott, you can keep saying that. No, I cannot do that, and I'm not going to give you a demo. Let's see what else people are saying. Bruno as a cam, Fred as box-to-box, and Neves as a CDM. We can be back to 4-3-3. That is some midfield, that I must admit. Pogba spends every 2 months plus on a treatment table. Obviously, he's just had an operation, and the video of him high as a kite, by the way, after that cracked me up. I thought it was hilarious. But yeah, just had an operation. It is true. We haven't seen enough of Paul Pogba in a shirt, and when we have seen him in a United shirt, he hasn't excelled as much as you'd like to. But you have to acknowledge as well he's got a poor team around him. But I can't see him saying, I think in the summer he's gone. I think that's a definite. I really cannot see him saying, which is maybe why Bruno is coming in now, so it gives him time to embed in. But of course, we still need to strengthen that middle, and going forwards, we need to strengthen as well. Woodward is the worry, says Michael. I completely agree. That's why I said, even though Woodward is going to sign Bruno by the looks of it, a lot of people forget the poor business that we've had from him over the last few years. This deal should have been done in the summer. We were close to signing him in the summer. We didn't want to fork out the extra money for him, and now all of a sudden we're panicking, and now we need to fork out the extra money for him. So genuinely, I do believe that Woodward should have got it over the line in the summer. I'm not forgetting the errors that he's made in the past. He's not all of a sudden my hero again, then he gets Bruno Fernandes. I still stick to it that I think Woodward needs to go, and I think the Glazers need to go, and that's still my opinion. However, of course, it's a good statement to make signing Bruno now, because we need him, and he's the kind of quality of player that I feel we are lacking. Ali says thoughts on Arteta so far. I'll be honest, I like him. I think he's going to do a good job at Arsenal. I think he's learnt obviously from Pep, play the game himself. I think obviously it's too early to judge him fully, but I think he's made a positive start against us. I thought they absolutely battered us, to be honest with you. He's got some quality players there, the likes of Aubameyang, Lacazette. I think they're quality players. I think he obviously needs to be supportive, and they need to invest as a club. And I think if they back him, I can see Arteta being there for a long time. I think he's going to be a successful manager. Of course, I hope that is not the case, but I genuinely believe that he is the right guy for the job there. I think he knows how to play the Arsenal way. He's learned under Pep how to press as a team. He'll know how to get that team up for it, and he'll know how to get them playing. And I think the main thing for Arsenal is there's a few characters there. David Luiz, for example, they signed him to be their rock at the back. They signed him to transform their back line, and David Luiz is not that guy for me. One game he'll be absolutely superb, and the next he'll be worse than Phil Jones. I think you cannot predict, and you can't have that kind of guy to be the core of the rock at the back. So I think they need to invest, and they need to invest wisely. But in terms of Arteta, I think if they do that, I think he'll be successful. And I'm just hoping that we can back Ole, and it can happen the same at United as well. Ali says, I'm happy with him. He has learnt from the best. Both Man United and Arsenal are similar positions. So, my favourite Man U fan. Appreciate that, Ali. Thank you. Gareth says, do you think Romero should be given a chance ahead of De Gea against Norwich? He seems to be more commanding in the area than in defence than David De Gea. De Gea hasn't been in form. A lot of people saying his head is not on it. I'm not going to say, he needs to be dropped immediately. I don't stick by that. I think David has saved us a lot of times, and a lot of people forget that. However, I do agree that lately he has been rocky, he's been unstable. Off crosses, I never trust him. He never seems to command his area. Romero, whenever he has been called upon, he has never let us down. I think he's been absolutely quality. It's an awkward one, because all of a sudden you drop Romero. If you drop De Gea for Romero, that's a confidence issue then. Is that going to knock him even further back? Or is it the fact he said he's not on it because he doesn't want to be at the club anymore? I think it's an awkward one. I think if I was Ole, I'd have a chat with De Gea. I would see how he is in his head, see how he's feeling. I don't think I would drop him just yet, but I can see why people have the reasons to say that. What I will say is Romero has to be knocking on the door. He has to be knocking on the door now. It has to cause a bit of a headache for Ole, and that's the way that it should be. In every area of the pitch, there should be some competition for the players, and there's not at United at the minute. There's no strength in depth. So players aren't being pushed for their places. De Gea knows he can do average performances, and he's still going to start every week, because Ole needs to now threaten him with Romero. He needs to say Romero isn't just here for cup games. Romero is going to threaten to start in the Premier League. I think that's the chat that needs to happen. And ultimately, what should happen is we should get the best from De Gea in that sense. And it's the same from any other position on the pitch. If you look at City's bench, they've got players who are constantly pushing for the first team. And that's what needs to happen at United, and it doesn't at the minute. Mini Raiola is representing Jesse Lingard. Doesn't surprise me at all. Does signing Bruno Fernandes mean Ole stays longer than this season, or should the club be ruthless and get Poch in the summertime? I think Ole deserves more time, and I know people ridicule me for saying that, but I just think he deserves at least maybe January window, summer window, maybe. I think we see where we are at the end of the season after this January transfer window, but I do believe in his backing in this window. Injuries haven't helped him as well, but the quality of player I've already mentioned is bang average. So I think that Ole does need a bit of backing. I think the 3 signings he has made already are positive signings. Bruno, maybe that 4th one again, positive. I think just give him a bit of time, let him try and work on his plan. I agree tactically. I said it the other day. We knew that City were not playing with a striker. So why didn't we push one of our centre-backs into the midfield area? Phil Jones, for example, pushed him into a CDM because they were overloading our midfield. We did not need to have 2 centre-backs not marking anybody. And then that's why we had no way to play out. City had a plan. They knew how to press as a team. They press as a unit. When you look at us trying to press as a team, we're pressing in 1s and 2s. We're getting passing triangles around us. And we were chasing shadows for the majority of that first half in particular. And that you have to say that is down to Ole's tactics. What are we working on in training? Because we're definitely not working on how to press as a team. And like I say, tactically, 10 minutes in, for example, you can see that City aren't playing with a recognised striker, so why not push someone into that midfield? Because that's where we were getting overloaded. And I think that's the kind of... Is that down to Ole, though, or is that down to Carrick? Is that down to the coaches? And I think that's something that's baffling us all at the minute. But my opinion is, give Ole this window, back him in this window, sign whoever we can. We all know it's difficult in January. See where we are at the end of the season, reevaluate it. We need to have realistic targets all this season, I think, and go from there. But sacking managers constantly is definitely not the answer. We've done that now several times. There's a core group of players who are constantly letting the club down because they're bang average. They're simply not good enough. I've already said I think there's a mentality issue at the club as well. But I also agree with why Ole comes under question for the reasons that I've just mentioned from the City game as well. So I think, give him till the end of the season, see where we're at there. Then, of course, if we want to get a new manager in, whether it's Pochettino, whoever it may be, at least then they've got that summer transfer window to start to get some of the players in that they feel fits their system. But I would give him until the summer at least. Dear Sophie, do you think Man United should sign Donnarumma from AC Milan because he's a great shot stopper? He's a very good keeper. And the way with David De Gea is going in the minute, I think it's a realistic option. But like I say, I think we should have players pushing in every position, and I think Romero is definitely pushing in that position now. So De Gea, we need to see him getting back to his best because he is under pressure from Romero, and I'm hoping that he does get back up to form. I'm hoping it's a wobble. I'm hoping it's not because his head is elsewhere as well. So I think De Gea will start today, and I'm hoping that he has a positive performance, but he does need to be more commanding off his crosses because that is one thing that I'm not confident with at the moment. Bruno Fernandes, Jimenez and Van der Beek or Koulibaly I'll be happy with. I think that is a mad transfer window for January. If that happens, Jimenez, I can't see him leaving Wolves to come to us again. I think it's going to take a lot of money to do that, but he is a quality striker, definitely. My dad, again, massively rates him at Wolves. But again, he's working in a system that Nuno has got every single player playing the way he wants them to play. Every single player knows their job clearly. Wolves have got a clear system. At United at the minute, have we got a clear system, a clear way of playing? Does every player know their jobs? And you have to say no. And I think that's the big thing, really. Nuno has he's transformed players, should I say. Adama Traore, another example. I don't see that kind of progress happening at United at the minute. And again, you have to say that has to come to Ole, doesn't it? And the coaching staff. And I do keep saying and the coaching staff because, of course, they need to be questioned just as much as well. Ole is always the one who's questioned because he's at the front, he takes the brunt of it. But, yeah, I think freestyle Ole ball, I'd agree with that. We don't have a clear plan, we definitely don't. And like I say, it's the simple stuff, the pressing, the movement off the ball, we haven't got that. And you have to say that's something that we should be working on in training. And I understand why people criticise Ole, of course I do. Michael says, is it confirmed? Not yet, Michael. But obviously there's a lot of reliable sources that are saying Bruno to United is happening. We've got a game today, so I don't expect anything to be announced right now. But of course, Ole, I imagine, will be questioned after the game about the Bruno transfer. So I'd like to see his response from that. I imagine it'll be Monday if he does get announced at all, to be honest. I think that'll be when it does happen. I'm not getting too sucked in, but it is looking more and more likely, and I've got to say I am a bit excited about it because I think he'll be a great midfielder for us, and I think he's the kind of player that we are lacking right now. Surinder says, how true is it? Only as true as obviously what the sources are saying, but it's looking more and more likely. You can't be the biggest club in the world and having Ole as your manager. It's a good point, but you know what? Every manager has to start somewhere, don't they? Every manager has to start somewhere. Don't think our midfield would be awesome. Bruno, Pogba and McTominay. I think McTominay is an interesting one because I do really rate him, but realistically, if we get some world-class midfielders in, is McTominay going to start? And I think that's an interesting one. I do love Scotty McTominay. I think it depends on who the manager is and the style of play that we're going to have. I think he brings that fight into the midfield. But if we're going to sign world-class players, can you still see McTominay being a starter? Or would Fred be the guy that starts over him? So it'd be Fred, Pogba and Bruno, for example. It's going to be interesting. Matic is better than McTominay. I don't think when Matic has lost his legs, I think in his prime, yes, you would say that. But at the moment, I think Matic, you have to say he's lost his legs. I think he does the simple stuff well. But when you're playing against a pacey midfield, I think that's when Matic really comes unstuck. But I think, like I say, he does the simple stuff well. But when we do sign world-class players, I think it'd be interesting to see what happens with McTominay. You miss Herrera. Herrera, I was gutted when I saw Herrera leave. He's one of my favourite players, I'll be honest with you. I do think we miss him. I think he was the guy that, in the middle, he brought that fight, he brought that hunger. He loved playing for United, and I was gutted when he went. So I'd agree with that. We haven't really replaced him as well, which is what obviously we're looking to do now. Hopefully Bruno can be that guy. But yeah, interesting times, United fans. Norwich today. Let me know what your score predictions are for it. I think we'll beat them today, to be honest with you. I think it'll be a tight game, though. I'm going to say a 2-1 United win as my prediction. Let me know what you guys think as well. There's no game now that I feel confident going into as a United fan. Literally no game I go into and think, you know what, we're going to win today. I think we're going to scrape a win today. 2-1 is my prediction. 3-1 to United, 1-0 to United. So you guys are thinking the same as me, that we're going to get a win. 2-1 to United there, 3-1. You know what, I just want... We can't be any worse than we were against Arsenal that first half against City, let's be honest. I just want to see us show a bit of grit, show a bit of fight, and a bit of tempo to our play. We were too slow, too indecisive. Against Norwich, I imagine we're going to have a lot of the ball and we need to use the ball effectively, move it quickly, be positive and take some risks with our passing because we haven't seen that enough. If we do that, we'll beat them, definitely. And last point as well, obviously, Harry Maguire apparently is going to be our confirmed captain permanently. When we signed Harry Maguire, I think that was always in the pipeline. I think we were always going to do that. I always imagined Maguire would be our captain, but it seems more and more likely now that he's going to be named as our regular captain. Are you guys happy with that? Like I say, I thought we signed Maguire and I always imagined he would be the guy as captain. We haven't got any leaders in our squad and I think it's going to happen. This woman needs an agent and to be on TV. She's that good. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yeah, appreciate that. Love that. Why can't we keep a clean sheet? We can't keep a clean sheet for many reasons. I think Lindelof, I think he's always a liability. Maguire, I think he looks a bit of a wardrobe at times, I'll be completely honest with you. But he is an improvement on what we've got. I think that aerially, we're not the strongest. I think that because we struggle to play out from the back, a lot of players obviously nick the ball quite high up at the pitch against us, and that's why they tend to score against us as well. I think that inability to play out from the back, you watch some teams, City for example, and they're so comfortable playing out from the back, and that's something that we're really struggling with. And that's because of a lack of movement going forward. So I sympathised a bit with Phil Jones the other day. I know, don't get me wrong, I know that he's a liability and, yeah, he makes us all have a heart attack. I get that. But I think that when he gets the ball and he looks up, there's literally such a lack of options. I believe there's only Fred really who shows for the ball. Everyone else seems to be hiding. And that's why I always say that there's a bit of a lack of a mentality, a lack of fight to get on the ball and a lack of confidence there as well. Is Dean Henderson still our player? He is. And that's why I didn't say too much about Donnarumma, because I think Henderson is a quality keeper. I would love to see him back at United and being our number one eventually. I think he is that good. Fantastic season at Sheffield United yet again. He had a fantastic season last season as well. And he seems to be getting better and better game by game. I think he does command his area a lot better than what De Gea does. I'm not saying he's a better keeper than De Gea by any stretch, but I'm just saying that the kid is getting better and better. And I can see him being number one at United in the future, and I hope that does happen. So Donnarumma, for me, I would rather have Dean Henderson. And I know people will laugh at that, but genuinely, I would love to see him in a United shirt. Michael says, what's up with De Gea? I think Ole needs to have a chat with him seriously. I think he does. And De Gea's got Romero breathing down his neck now, which could be a good thing because we need to get the best out of him. I got Henderson up to 90 on FIFA, says Robbie. I've started a new Ultimate team as well with this Xbox, and I've got some... It's a dead team, to be honest with you. I need to get some signings massively. I can't be playing any EU guys yet until I've improved my team because it's ridiculous. I get absolutely battered at the minute. Self, do you rate Lindelof? He's got a lot of stick lately. Lindelof, I think, is a bit vulnerable at times. Physically, if he comes up against a physical striker, a lot of times I think he's vulnerable, especially in the air. When the ball's at his feet, and I think across the ground, I think he's quick enough and he reads the game well enough and he's good enough on the ball. But I do think in the air, that's why we concede some goals, because I think he's a bit vulnerable at times there, physically. I think he's improved a lot. But again, I think if you're looking at someone like Koulibaly, maybe Varane, for example, I would take them over Lindelof, definitely. How confident are you that we will sign Bruno? If I give you a percentage right now, if it's happening, I'm going to say 70%. And that's because there's some reliable sources saying it, and the momentum seems to be speeding up with the rumours right now. However, I'm not fully getting my hopes up because I did that last season enough and it depressed me so much. Like I say, I was opening the Sky Sports app every half an hour, checking, seeing if United were signing anyone else, who else we were linked with, and I'm just sick of it now because we get linked with absolutely everyone. So, yeah, I'm trying to refrain from checking as much. I'm trying to hold back from getting too sucked in, but it is looking more and more likely, and it does look like that deal is going to happen. I'm not saying that it was definitely Bruno in the car, because obviously it's impossible to tell, but I do think it's looking more and more likely, and I think it'll be announced on Monday if it does. But don't trust me as a reliable source. I'm just going on what I've read, just like you guys. I'm a fan just like you guys. Don't get too sucked in. My advice is Celebrate it when it happens. When you see him holding up that shirt, celebrate it then. Don't celebrate it just yet. Seri says Maddison or Jack Grealish. I would choose Maddison out the two, to be honest with you, but I would take either of them. But again, I've already mentioned I don't think Grealish will leave until the summer anyway. Until Villa are definitely relegated, then I can see him leaving. But he loves Villa. It's his boiled club. He's not going to leave right now. Right, guys, have a lovely Saturday. I'll be watching the game later on. Hopefully we get that win that most of us have predicted. And let's see if we hear any more about Bruno. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. If you haven't already, please do subscribe to Hairdryer Treatment. I appreciate it. Mark saying 16 isn't free. Apparently Rojo's going the opposite way, which is why I'm saying he will wear the 16. But yeah, I think Bruno Fernandes may well soon be a United player. Fingers crossed it does happen. Thank you guys for tuning in. If I have missed your comment in the chat, I appreciate it. Drop a comment on the video afterwards and I'll get back to you through that definitely. Have a good day. Come on United, let's get that win. Take care.